Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not worry about the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Trying It Again. And there can certainly be nothing wrong with trying things again, because remember that old saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Believe me, that could really work for you in the coming week. And the reason why is that there are a number of retrograde planets, 3 of them actually. And so when there are a lot of retrograde planets, it's a good time to go back and try something again, or tie up loose ends, or finish some sort of project, or try to attain a goal that perhaps hadn't worked out before, but maybe now it could. And the reason why is because Mercury, the planet of communication, is in Gemini, and it is closely conjuncted by Mars and the Sun in Gemini. So all 3 of those planets are in the sign of communication and change, but because Mercury is retrograde right now, it means you might have a lot of explaining to do. In other words, you could have to do it twice. And that simply means that if you'd already explained something, you might have to go back and do that again to clarify something, or you may have to change schedules a little bit, or you may have to make plans or revise plans right now. Since that is a planet that is retrograde, it simply means that people can get their wires crossed, so you might have to repeat yourself a little bit. But you could be more successful the second time around. That's what that means. And so if you'd already explained your ideas and your concepts, and perhaps no one had exactly seen the light, go ahead and give that another try this week, because it looks like you could be much more successful now, and that would be great. Pluto is also retrograde right now in Capricorn. It's the only planet in an Earth sign, and because it is going backward, it simply means that there can be some policy changes right now, or even a reversal of a policy, and there can be changes in management, because Pluto rules powerful people in large corporations or government agencies. So there can be some sort of change there, and that could work out pretty well too, because perhaps with new management or some sort of new policy, things could be more successful the second or third time around, which would be great. Saturn is the 3rd retrograde planet. It's in Sagittarius, and because Sagittarius rules the courts, it simply means that somebody with a lot of experience, that would be Saturn, representing a person who had worked very hard, had a lot of experience, perhaps might be older and wiser, or hold a high position. That person could probably take the long-term view about a legal matter. Sagittarius does rule the courts, and they may decide that they would have to step in or back into a leadership role in order to reestablish some parameters that can lead to better law and order. So that is quite possible. It'd also be very hard to do right now, because that Saturn in Sagittarius is being opposed by all 3 planets in Gemini, the Sun, Mars, and Mercury. And it is being squared by Neptune in Pisces. So not everyone is telling the truth these days. And remember, 2 of those planets, Mars and Saturn, are malefic planets, and they're coming up against each other. So some people may want to do harm. Other people simply want to establish law and order. So those 2 things are in conflict. And so there can also be deception in that mix as well, and that can be a little difficult to deal with. But remember, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Because there is a wonderful aspect going on in the air signs, and it is that same Sun, Mars, and Mercury in Gemini are all beautifully trining the Moon today in Libra. The Sun is at 7 degrees. 7 is the number of mystery. The Moon is also at 7 degrees. The lights exactly trine each other right now. And since Libra rules partnership, it simply means there can be a very nice person around who can facilitate in some mysterious way a compromise, or some sort of legal partnership, or they can join forces with others, perhaps others who are very strident, but they can be peace-loving themselves, and perhaps they can sort of turn something around. Remember, if you try anything again now, it is aspected to be successful, simply because you may have learned from your mistakes at once, and that's why you can be successful the second time around. And that's good, because Venus is in Cancer, and it is trining Neptune in Pisces. Those two planets are very idealistic, and they can be looking for the good everywhere. And since Pisces rules dreams, but it also rules charity, it simply means that there can be somebody who wants to make some sort of quick move or change, and that can result in promoting better relationships and bringing harmony to people that had not been seen eye to eye. So that's a good aspect too, and that is why I really encourage all of you to give something another try this week, because first of all, you don't have anything to lose. With 3 retrograde planets, not many things are going to go forward successfully right now. There's going to be changes, as I said, or there's going to be more explaining to do, or there's going to be people who have different opinions, and those will have to be reconciled first. But still, if you want to go back and try something again, I think that you have a very good chance of success now. One of the reasons is because there is a grand trine in fire signs, and that can help facilitate things as well. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that you certainly will want to be trying something again. In fact, you may need to. And the reason why, Aries, is that today there is a grand cross among the cardinal signs. And that simply means there's 4 cardinal signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and your sign, Aries, and there's a planet in each of them, so they're all squaring and opposing each other, and that means you sure can't please everyone right now, Aries. And you may want to sort of get something underway. You may want to travel, you may want to start a new job, you can feel as if you can get help from your friends, and that is really true, Aries. And that is because Jupiter in Leo is trining your sun, and so is Saturn in Sagittarius. So you should really try something again. And that means you might want, with 3 retrograde planets, you might want to go back to something that you'd done before or somewhere that you had lived before. And that has a very good chance of working out. The reason why you might want to do that is because you may sense under that grand cross in cardinal signs that there are not a lot of people that are real happy with you at the moment. In other words, a career matter could be in conflict with a home matter, or some very, very nice person could be deciding to leave you, Aries, and move on. And that is because the moon in Libra, which is very well fortified by all the planets in Gemini, is opposing your sun sign. So I think you may lose a nice friend right now, but that's either because they're leaving or you're leaving. Either way, I think that you'll be successful right now, Aries, as long as you move on. I don't think you're going to be too happy staying where you are, and I don't think things are going to get better where you are. That is why I urge you to give something a try again in a new location if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, there isn't a lot of emphasis in earth signs anymore. That's a little strange because there has been for a long time. But right now, only Pluto is in Capricorn, and it is retrograde, but it is trining your sun, meaning that if there is a change in management or there is some policy reversal or change, that could benefit you, Taurus. It may give you a chance to take on more responsibility, which would be great. But I think instead you can be very involved with buying and selling or promoting or negotiating right now. And you can be full of ideas, and that is because the Sun, Mars, and Mercury are right ahead of your sun sign. And I think you might be thinking, in order to make more money, which you like to do, you may have to promote yourself or promote an idea or an investment. I would really try that. And if you've already tried it once, try it again, Taurus, because you could be more successful the second time around. And that is because the Sun in Gemini, right ahead of your sun sign, is perfectly trining the moon in Libra right now. So some deal that hadn't worked out before you know, maybe with just a little bit of a compromise, it could work out now. That's why I think you should not give up on anything, Taurus, because I think something will improve right now for you. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, oh, the emphasis is certainly on what you like, communication and change, because there are 3 planets in your sun sign, and one of them is your ruler. And so the sun at 7 degrees is in your sign. It is conjunct Mars at 10 degrees and Mercury at 11 degrees. My goodness, they're all very close together. So you can be communicating all over the place, Gemini, and you could have a little bit too much on your plate right now. Too many things to do, too many things to redo or revise, or you may have to keep explaining yourself over and over again. But that could lead somewhere nice right now, and that is because that moon in Libra at 7 degrees, same degree as the sun in your sign, is trining all the planets in your sign. And that simply means that you could get help from a very nice person right now, and they would be helpful in a way that is charming, perhaps artistic, and very peace-loving and diplomatic, whereas you could be under a little bit of stress right now and somewhat impatient. And so you ought to add somebody who's sort of mellow to your circle of friends right now, Gemini, because they could balance you out a little bit and they could actually be a great help to you. So I hope you're looking around for extra help, because I think it's available and would really do you a lot of good. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time, since yours is a cardinal sign, when you have to realize you can't please everybody. And the reason why is that Uranus, one of the love planets, is in Aries, squaring Venus in your sign. So not all of your relationships are working out real well right now, because somebody could be a little bit rebellious or want to do everything their own way and not compromise with you at all. And also the moon, your own ruler, is in Libra, and it is squaring your sun sign and Venus. So that moon is very well fortified right now. So somebody else could want to move on right now, or they could want some sort of a partnership that is favorable to them, and you may not be completely agreeable with that. And Pluto in Capricorn is opposing Venus in your sign, which could indicate some sort of separation, and that separation could be at work. In other words, somebody at work could be moving on, or they could decide to give you a different assignment so you could be moving on. And so that's what I mean by you can't please everybody right now. Where's the bright spot? Well, it certainly is with your family and in your home. And that is because Venus is in Cancer, and it is being beautifully trined by Neptune in Pisces. So you can make a dream come true, either for yourself or for a family member, and you can afford it as well. And also, if you're thinking of a move, which you might be doing, Cancer, there could be a lot of wheeling and dealing going on behind the scenes, because the Sun, Mars, and Mercury are in Gemini right behind your sun sign. So in the background of your life, I think you're very busy, Cancer. But I hope that you save time for your home and your family, because that is what can make you very peaceful and contented and happy. And so with Venus in your sign, I don't think you're in the mood to pick a fight with anybody. So if people are not exactly happy right now, I think that you should just, you know, sort of mellow out and try to make yourself happy instead. And do things you like doing. That'll cheer you up. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, a very unusual thing is happening right now, and you ought to take advantage of it, Leo, quickly. And that is that there are no other planets in the fixed signs making any harsh aspect to your sign at all. This is wonderful, Leo, because Jupiter is in your sign, and it is not being squared or opposed by any planet at all. There's nothing in Taurus, Aquarius, or Scorpio. And there is a grand trine in fire signs right now. So Jupiter in your sign is being trined beautifully by Uranus in Aries, and also by that Saturn in Sagittarius. So remember, the title of the show is Trying It Again. And I think that, Leo, what you've got to do right now is try to think of something that you wanted to do in the past and that you didn't quite get around to doing, or you didn't get accepted. In other words, you might have applied for something, but you didn't get accepted. Or even if you wanted to move or try some sort of outreach of some kind and it didn't quite work out, you need to give that another try right now. You need to go for something that is very appealing to you and probably creative. And you also need to think about taking on a deeper responsibility, that Saturn trining your sun, and maybe going for something that would require quite a bit of work but could give you a very big reward in just 2 or 3 years. And so try it again, Leo. The reason why I'm urging you to do that now is because there's nothing stopping you. Nothing. There are no planets at all in conflict with your sun sign, and you have got one of the best planets in your sun sign. So don't let the grass grow under your feet, Leo. Just keep going forward right now, and particularly try something that didn't work out before, because this time it looks like nothing's going to stop you. That's why you shouldn't delay. You've got a green light all the way to what you want, Leo. All you have to do is sort of get in motion and go. All right, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when I think you have to be very, very careful. And that is because, remember, there are 3 retrograde planets. Well, one of them is your ruler, Mercury. So the Sun, Mars, and Mercury are in Gemini, and they are all squaring your Sun, Virgo, which means since Mars is involved, there are people that don't necessarily want to encourage you. In other words, they could be a little jealous of you. They could be passionate and want to do things their own way. They could even be saying sort of nasty things or spreading bad gossip right now, and that's why you need to keep a real low profile right now, Virgo. Try not to be out in the open. Don't make yourself a target for anything. Just as I said last week, fly under the radar a little bit and keep to yourself, because there are no planets in Earth sign except that Pluto in Capricorn, and it is trining your sun. If there's a change in management, it is going to do you a lot of good, Virgo. But it could be a sort of a work in progress at the moment. And with Neptune opposing your sun, it simply means that people are certainly not telling you the whole truth, and they're not even going to, so you don't need to waste your breath asking a lot of questions, because you won't get a straight answer right now anyway. And Saturn in Sagittarius is also squaring your sun. So it means that there are 5 planets in mutable signs, all harshly aspecting your own sun sign, Virgo. And so you're going to have to sort of bide your time. Things are going to turn around and be much better for you by the middle of June, particularly by June 11th, when Mercury goes direct. But for right now, I would backtrack a little bit, finish up projects that you haven't quite completed yet, and more or less keep to yourself right now, because you're not under the best aspects at the moment, but you have been under very good aspects, and that will continue, but not until after the middle of June. So now is the time to just be as quiet as you can and keep doing what you do well. You don't have to be involved with everybody else, because your sign rules the central nervous system. You can make yourself a nervous wreck by worrying about things that you can't solve right now. So put blinders on and don't worry right now, Virgo. Just sort of make it through on your own now if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a wonderful time for you, and that is because there is finally a lot of strength in the air signs. The sun is exactly trine the moon in your sign today, which is extremely harmonious, but it also means that there could be some sort of partnership, even a spiritual one formed right now, or there can be something that mysteriously works out very well for you, Libra, and that would be just great. You may not even understand how it has managed to work out well, but it will. And I think that you are really going to benefit right now by all the strength in Gemini. It isn't because the planets, it's because the sun actually is trining the moon in your sign, but Mars and Mercury are also trining your sign. So people who want a little more explaining done, they could be coming to you and asking your opinion on things, or you can be complimenting them, or you can be sorting out some sort of confusion and sort of making everything work right now, which is wonderful, Libra. So you can be a very peaceful harbor in a stormy situation right now, and because of that, I think that you're going to do very, very well. And so you don't have anything to worry about right now, even though there is a Grand Cross in cardinal signs. It doesn't hurt you, because you have so much support from all the planets in Gemini. So good luck. Try something again if you can. You won't regret it. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time when I think that you can certainly benefit from staying home. And the reason why is that Venus in Cancer is trining your sun, and Neptune in Pisces is also trining your sun. And there are 3 retrograde planets. It is a better time for you to sort of tie up loose ends or to complete projects right now. And if you're wanting to do something that involves your home or your family, or if you're thinking of making a move, which I think you're contemplating, you may have the money to be able to do that. And if you don't have it now, it could be coming right up, Scorpio. So I think you can afford either to make a dream come true, or perhaps to move, or to just bring your family closer together. Or if there is some sort of project that hadn't worked out before because you were a little short of cash or your budget was too small, now is the time to give that another try, because it isn't just money that makes people successful. And even though yours is a financial sign, you're pretty good at managing money. It takes ideas, and it takes discipline, and it takes organization, and it takes patience. And you've got all of that, Scorpio, so do give something another try. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, this is a time when I think you can really go forward. And the reason why is that Uranus in Aries is trining your sun, and Jupiter in Leo, which is very well aspected right now. It has nothing stopping it at all. It too is trining your sun. And so even though you can be weighed down by extra burdens right now, since Saturn has been in your sign all year, that is about to end, because in June Saturn will retrograde and go back into Scorpio, and a burden will lift, which is good. And that certainly is something that you need to prepare for, Sagittarius, because right now you can be coming up against people who are angry, or who are jealous, or vindictive, or want something all their own way, because those 3 planets in Gemini are opposing Saturn in your sign. But that Saturn is very well fortified right now. You can either choose to argue with people and not win a fight right now, or you can choose to take a longer view and trust your own high standards right now, and think about establishing some sort of sense of law and order, either in your own life or in other people's lives. Or you can be establishing something that is very well organized in a new endeavor of yours. And so, you know, there's a lot of possibilities right now with 3 retrograde planets. You should go back and tie up loose ends, and there is the possibility that some legal question is about to be resolved. And when it is, you'll sort of be free from all of that and able to go forward too. So I would say you need to complete things. Try to clear the deck, Sagittarius, because I think you're going to be on to something new real quick. All right, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is simply a time when you're really on your own. Remember, there are no other planets in Earth signs, so there's nothing fortifying your sign, Capricorn, and Pluto is retrograde in your sign, meaning there can be a change of policy or a change of management, and I think you might be involved in that, Capricorn. And so rather than you running into other people who have such different opinions that you can't reconcile them at all, try not to pay attention to what's going on around you, Capricorn, and stick to what you do well, which is working methodically and consistently toward a goal. Even with a change of management, since there can be sort of ups and downs in other people's lives, if you ignore that right now and simply remain as steady as you can in your own objectives, you're going to come out a big winner, Capricorn, because the chaos can't last. And at the end of the day, the people who are sticking to what they truly believe in and are working hard toward that are going to achieve something. And in fact, you can achieve power just by sticking to what you do well and trying to tune out everybody else. They're not in agreement anyway, so forget it. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, you certainly benefit right now because there is so much strength in the air signs, and yours is an air sign. So the Sun, Mars, and Mercury in Gemini are trining your Sun, and the lovely Moon in Libra is also trining your Sun. That means you can get help right now from somebody who's a rather nice person, has a good grasp of fairness and balance, and can be rather charming. So that can help balance some future project or future idea of yours. The future, your future, is certainly well aspected right now. And that is because, along with the help from somebody who could be charming and nice, there are people that can be going on their own way. They can be rebellious, they can be argumentative, but they can also be rather stimulating, and they can encourage you to try something again. What should that be? You need to go sort of back to where you started. In other words, if everyone should be trying something again, you could go back to something that you had left before. It's sort of like returning. If you wanted to make some sort of return and sort of pick up where you left off, it would be a cinch. You should do that, Aquarius. You would get a lot of help with that as well, but it would be very smooth for you to sort of return to something right now and be much more successful the second time around. So I hope you give that a try. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, I think this is a good time for you to sort of hunker down and stay with your home and your family. And the reason why is that yours is a mutable sign, and there are 5 planets in mutable signs, all harshly squaring and opposing each other. Those 3 planets in Gemini are all squaring your sun sign where you have Neptune, and so is Saturn in Sagittarius. So I think that if you want to try to make peace with warring factions, I don't think that's going to be possible right now, Pisces, so you need to stay out of that. And that is because Venus in Cancer is beautifully trining Neptune in your own sun sign. This is a great time for you to just try a little bit harder and work a little harder on making a dream come true. That dream would have something to do with healing others, or helping others in some way, or easing somebody's pain, or making a sacrifice that is actually a gift of love. You could do all of that right now, Pisces, if you wanted to, and be blessed in your home and your family life as well. So I hope you give that a try. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.